Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. I'm sorry I couldn't do any live streams earlier. I had some personal things that I had to take care of during the day, so it just wasn't possible for me to squeeze in some live streams. But tomorrow I am free and we'll be back to normal. So, if you haven't heard by now, the Venezuelan president and his wife were pretty much kidnapped and brought to New York and then charged. And they both made a court appearance, him and his wife, today, and they both pled not guilty. So Donald Trump has seemed to have appointed Stephen Miller as like an interim president, which we all know that is not a good idea at all. We know what kind of person Stephen Miller is, and him being appointed to anything is downright laughable and a joke. And you know what the worst thing is, y'all? The worst thing is I did not come across one single article that said it was a good appointment. Not one. They all said the same thing. Stephen Miller is the worst possible person to run Venezuela. And I agree. This man is so racist. You're putting it's putting a Nazi in charge of a bunch of brown people in Venezuela. It is not going to be good for y'all. Okay, it's not going to be good for y'all in Venezuela. Okay, this man will just sit in this position and take all his isms out on the population of people. Because I see many of you are cheering in the streets. I don't know. That might be a bit too immature to put Stephen Miller, a person of his ilk and very out in left field personality. No, it's not a good idea. But see, Donald Trump and his administration is filled with these mediocre white men that are drunk on power. That's all his cabinet is. His entire cabinet, even the women, they're a bunch of mediocre people that are drunk on power. That's all they are. And no, you're not getting the best. You're not getting the cream of the crop. You are getting very bare minimum, mediocre people that think they're way greater than what they truly are. That's what you're getting. If these people were so good, this world would be in much better shape. This world is in horrible shape under their leadership. It is falling real fast. There is no area on this earth that's running well because these folks are in charge. It is just not happening anywhere on the globe. And you don't have anybody really coming out in a strong way opposing Donald Trump. There's a handful of people, but they're not really coming out strong. They're not. And has Congress even spoken up? I mean, Donald Trump is some old, broken down, has been billionaire, and he got the whole world shaking to the point where nobody is going to oppose what he's doing. It just goes to show you the vast majority of people in political power are also cowards. They are. Congress, they're all cowards. The Senate, they're all cowards. And, so you got this man that's going to recolonize the world and nobody's going to speak up about it. And he done got he done got a big old ego boost on this. So he ain't hardly going to stop with Venezuela. Oh, hell no. He got his sights on other places. We've heard other places over the past 24 hours: Colombia, Mexico, Cuba, Greenland, and Canada again. Oh, yeah, and Panama. Yeah, he wants to take over Panama and call it Panamaga. Is that what this laughable thing they want to do? Call it Panamaga? The world don't need any more colonization. It doesn't. Enough of that already. We don't need more colony. We don't need to start colonizing places again. But this is what's happening. Let's see how long this goes on, y'all. But you can best believe this is not the last one Donald Trump is going to grab. He's grabbing more. His ego is big right now because of what he did. And it's no threats of retaliation on him. So why should he stop? And he's not going to stop. So we're going to get into the videos. I did invite LVZ. He might come on, a little later. But we're going to look at a few videos on how people are reacting to this appointment of Stephen Miller, of all people. And then on the other hand, does Donald Trump really have any good people in his cabinet? Oh, here's LVZ. Hold on, y'all. How you doing, LVZ?
I'm alright. Somebody. I've been better, but I've been worse. What's good? What's good?
We are talking about this Stephen Miller appointment to be the interim president of Venezuela that Donald Trump has appointed. And LVZ, I said, I was looking at articles all day on this. I did not
Mm.
come across one single article that had a good thing to say about Stephen Miller. Not one.
So that mean you was reading good articles because it's really not nothing good to say
No.
about Steve. Look at him. The man,
Mhm.
the the man looks like a circumcised PP. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, y'all. They call him Pee Wee German because they that's what they call him. Pee Wee German. That's his nickname, y'all.
Hmm. Yeah.
Smack
Yeah.
him right in his bald spot. Just cat.
Hmm. Yeah, and I said, yeah, it's just another mediocre white guy in the Trump administration drunk on power. That's all.
That's all.
He ain't
That's
about
all.
shit, y'all. At the end of the day,
Got it.
Stephen Miller ain't about shit.
Just a coward. Y'all remember when he they had a video earlier this year, him walking through Union Square, and a dude was screaming, "You're a coward, Stephen Miller. You and the couch fucker," cussing him and JD Vance out.
JD Vance,
Ste-
yeah.
and Stephen Miller was trying to hurry up and get out there because he ain't but like 5 foot nothing.
Right. But LVZ, I think it was this past summer, him and his wife moved on to a military base because somebody wrote in chalk on the sidewalk outside of his house.
Exactly,
So
exactly. And they said
that was enough to get you running.
it.
Somebody writing with pink chalk outside your house was enough to
Oh my
send you
God,
running.
the liberal terrorists are coming to get me. That's what he was saying. That's what he called
Mhm.
them,
Y'all,
left wing liberal terrorists.
exactly. Y'all, the chalk was written in freaking pink. Okay. It was pink
Damn sure
chalk.
was. And it
And dude,
what
he packed up his family and got the hell up out of there over that.
right. And it wasn't nothing like, oh, we gonna knock you out. Well, man, you ain't nothing. When I catch you, I'm gonna put my foot up. It wasn't nothing like that. It was the Millers are liars.
Right.
That's basically
Right.
what they
That
wrote
was
the
it.
chalk. What at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And pink chalk. And that sent him and his family packing and running to a military base to live.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, well, a lot of people don't like his wife, and when you look at their background, Stephen Miller classmates have come forward, like back when he was appointed, Donald Trump had
Yeah.
picked him, and they said he didn't get along with nobody in high school.
They
Nobody.
said these white ladies did an expose on him and his wife Lisa. His
Mhm.
wife just as bad.
Yeah, they her classmates came forward like a couple of days ago, and they said the same thing about her. They
They
said
said
she
they
was
could.
difficult, she was
Yeah.
argumentative, she was indifferent to everything, and nobody got along with her. I said that's why they got married. They were
Yeah.
exactly alike.
Yeah. Exactly. And then they sound alike.
Yes, they sure do. Whiny,
Yeah. Them
whiny.
damn nasally, whiny ass voices.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You ain't never lie. So I was just showing them this article. It was one of many, like I said, that were like, oh, this is not good news for you, Venezuela, because they dancing in the street because Maduro got taken out of there. And I was like, not so fast.
I was
Remember,
about to
Donald
say,
Trump is in charge of this.
did you hear about that? That's all AI. They said that the dancing in the streets is not really happening. They said for the most part, the streets is empty because everybody is worried about what they really gonna do. They said all them videos of them passing around dancing in the streets, them been written off as AI.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. And I would not be surprised if this Trump administration is doing it.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
know,
saying. What you
yeah,
got to think about. We both on X, and that's where you see most of the dancing on the streets. Who
yeah,
on X, y'all?
right. Mhm. Elon,
So
and
yeah,
I showed a video yesterday and I showed an article. Elon was recently at Mar-a-Lago and him and Donald Trump and Melania were all dining together.
just chilling.
Yeah,
Everybody still think they beefing. They not
no,
beefing.
they ain't
They
beefing.
not.
They ain't beefing. That little mess out in public was nothing. They are still hanging around each other.
Right. And if y'all go on X, that everything Donald Trump does, that hair plug wearing monkey face bag of looking like a big bag of cottage cheese, he sits there and praises everything Donald Trump do.
Mhm. Yeah, so that little spat, that was a bunch of nothing, y'all, for real.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of nothing.
Yeah. We always you what Steve Coakley say, always pay attention when white folks are having a conversation. Because they
Mm,
say stuff to each other that they really ain't gonna say to you.
right, right, exactly. And you got to think about all the time that Elon spent in DC. And he was there for what? About 5 months, 5 or
Exactly.
6 months. Yeah,
Right.
and Donald Trump and them, they spent nearly every day together. And
Yep.
there's no way now they're on bad terms. That's why I was kind of leery about that.
Right. That's what I told her about. I was like, I think that's the truth what he said. I think he probably gave him like 6 or 7 months keys to the White House. Say, look, thank you for helping me win. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let you run some of this economic stuff so you can set it up where you making plenty of money.
Right,
Because that's all he did, y'all. Everything that
right,
they so-called Doge cut, what they did was fired all those people, killed all of their salaries, and funneled it all to Elon Musk and his
right.
company.
And LVZ, it's only been about a month since they dismantled the whole Doge team.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of all of them. The Doge don't exist anymore, y'all.
Nah, that y'all and do that make sense?
Yeah,
That
especially if they were looking for fraud and all this astronomical spending, which nobody ever saw.
ever so found, yeah.
Yep,
All of the little stuff that they ended up cut wasn't even a fraction.
right. I mean, look, if people were committing fraud, how come nobody went to jail? We've
Went
been
to jail.
asking that over and over. Y'all ain't even put the damn Somalians in jail yet. And
And
they
I'm
done
about to
took,
say, go ahead,
yeah.
because Lisa, for real, I'm not. I got people in Minnesota, and they telling me all of that you see on TV is bullshit. Don't listen to none of these white folks. First
Mhm.
of all, anybody with common sense, y'all. That white man is walking around with two other white people with masks on, going up to a motherfucker daycare. What daycare is supposed to let him in?
Right. Because
Would you
he's a
feel
man, he's a
comfortable?
stranger, and he shouldn't
Right.
be filming children.
Children. Yeah, I'm about to say all that shit he doing is really illegal. And they try, and I ain't saying it ain't no Somalians doing fraud. Of course it is. Just like it's Hispanics doing fraud, everybody. But the problem is this, y'all. Minnesota's a state full of white people. Anything that them motherfuckers is doing, they letting them do. Y'all know damn well ain't no Somalians just gonna come here and outsmart no white people and steal their money. Anything that they do is something they let them do. Most of them doing is getting food stamp fraud and stuff like that, and now they ass going to jail. They
Mm,
won't show that white lady though that got that 250 million lease.
no, sure won't.
They won't show her white ass.
Mm-mm.
That
They
shit
won't.
crazy.
All they're doing is telling you she got charged. They really won't tell you too much else.
They won't tell you
Underneath
none of
that.
that. They won't even tell y'all that she the one that decided to use Somalians and then start talking about it was racist if you don't give her the money.
Right.
I read behind all of that shit, y'all. It's just like everything. Don't nothing. Can't nobody, can't no body who not white do nothing without white people permission in this country. You know
Exactly.
better than that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people, when the story broke, they were like, "Okay, who's the real mastermind
Yeah, who the
behind
one
this?"
behind it? That's why I never paid attention to. I said it's just like y'all say we do welfare fraud, and you won't even give us food stamps.
Right.
Get out of here.
Exactly. Right. And look at how many of our people went to jail over them PPP loans, and it
Thank
wasn't
you. I
even nowhere near the amount what these Somalians got.
shoot. I don't even think the Somalians got no money like that, Lisa. Lisa, that's bullshit. Let me tell you something. Did you? How much did How much did they forgive from Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of the Senate who got PPP loans?
Yeah, didn't the Congress and Senate all got them? And them people
They
don't. They're
they
many
said
of
they
them are
forget.
millionaires. They don't even need the money.
They said they don't even. Do y'all know that the estimate of the money that they stole, which is just as only from 2021 to now, they stole 80 billion,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
they still in office. And
And
we
you
talk
know,
about people.
and LVZ, not only that, you know, the whole time, many of them are rich because they've been doing nothing but a bunch of insider trading.
That trading the
And
whole
they've been
time.
getting away with it the entire time.
Yeah, they've been making that's why I see the trees through the forest. That's really why I ain't even been talking about it. 'Cause and then I woke up one day and and these crackers invaded a whole country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that and for people who don't know, this is if you are over the age of if you were old enough to be alive when President Clinton was here, and Lisa let them know I'm telling the truth if they don't know. This the second time in your life the American government has kidnapped the president.
Mm-hmm.
If and I'm not talking about Noriega, I'm talking about Joel Aristide from Haiti. The
Mm-hmm.
Clintons came in the middle of the night and kidnapped their president
Yeah.
and
And
then
didn't
brought
he
him
end
back months later.
didn't he eventually end up in Africa?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember they let him come back, but when he came back, everybody like you talking weird. You gotta get the hell up out of here. He went to Africa
Yeah. Yeah.
to
I
to
remember
be
that.
safe. So understand, y'all, that this is not that. The problem is it was this orange cracker, and he is off some what you call that he's of that old colonial times right now, y'all, where
Yeah.
he want to be a president remembered for stealing land.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to expand, manifest destiny. Man, what did we all learn in history? Manifest destiny was not a good thing.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, I look at it like this. I watch your neighborhood, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. Why they say watch your neighborhood? Cause he just made it so now one thing we know about them Hispanics, Lisa, when they go to war, they go to war. Them drug cartels, they went to war with their own government.
Mm-hmm.
Now he trying to go to war with Colombia and Venezuela. Well, I know Venezuela ain't no drug haven, but Colombia is.
Yeah.
If I'm the president of Colombia, I know my army can't mess with the United States, but I do know that the drug dealers got enough money to mess with.
Right.
So all I do is be like, what you do is free. Just make sure that what you do is legal. Just make sure these gringos don't come in here. Y'all, they're gonna be machine gunning people on the streets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But we're going to listen to a few videos and then I'm going to stop it in between, LVZ, if you want to make comments on what people are saying or you
Bet,
just want
bet,
to add something that you just thought about.
bet, bet. Let's
Okay.
do
Let me move this over here. All right, y'all. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Hey, and if y'all like the way we're doing this tonight, I can have LVZ back over here more often.
it.
It's going to be some crazy topics now. It's
Oh
going to be
boy.
some
I'm about to say
crazy ass
it's about
topics.
to be some weird ass topics, just the shit I honestly never thought white people would show their ass like this. I knew they would, but not like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
So now His Majesty here is flirting with the idea of having Stephen Miller, one of his advisors, as play the role rather of interim president of Venezuela. So now we're in nation building again, right? That worked out really well in Iraq. I can't with you all. I just can't. I fucking can't. Wow.
Behind Donald Trump's entire immigration agenda. His wife, Katie Miller, actually just was the one who made world news by posting an image of Greenland with the US flag over Greenland. And now it looks as though that Stephen Miller may be getting a larger role as it relates to Venezuela, potentially overseeing everything that happens regarding America's running of Venezuela. I'll provide you more updates as we get more information, spread the word, and as always, follow along for all the news that you need to know about. More to come soon.
While y'all were sleeping, the Trump administration turned the Monroe Doctrine into a MAGA fever dream. And honey, the rest of the world is not laughing. Listen, we need to have a real grown-up conversation about the absolute circus currently masquerading as United States foreign policy. Because right now, the art of the deal has officially devolved into the art of the delusion, and the stakes couldn't be higher. We are looking at a situation in Venezuela that is messy, murky, and frankly, making my head spin. We've got Donald Trump out here claiming the U.S. is running the show, while Marco Rubio is over there playing footsie with Maduro's hand-picked VP, Delcy Rodriguez. Is it a regime change? Is it a regime rebrand? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like they're just swapping out one dictator for a dictatorial policy with a fresh coat of paint. But wait, it gets worse. Now we're hearing that the brain trust over at the White House, and I use that term very loosely, is considering putting Stephen Miller in charge of post-Maduro operations. Stephen Miller, the same man whose only qualification is finding new and creative ways to be cruel to human beings at the border. You want to send the architect of chaos to manage a power vacuum in South America? That's not a strategy. That's a powder keg. And let's talk about his better half, Katie Miller. This woman had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to post a picture of Greenland draped in an American flag with the caption, "Soon, Greenland, our NATO ally." She's out here posting memes like she's playing a game of Risk on her iPad, while the actual premier of Greenland has to go on the national news to tell his citizens, don't panic, the Americans haven't actually lost their minds yet. It is embarrassing. It is unprofessional, and it is flat out dangerous. While Stephen Miller is busy tweeting about nuclear winters and invading a dozen countries, his boss is out here rebranding the Monroe Doctrine as the Don Roe Doctrine, complete with photos of him holding a literal club like he's a caveman discovering fire for the first time. They are drunk on power, chasing headlines, and playing wag the dog to distract from the mountain of legal drama back home. Venezuela is a tinderbox. People are dying. The world is watching. And instead of seasoned diplomats, we've got a bunch of internet trolls and crypto scammers trying to run a continent. It's amateur hour at the highest level of government. And honey, the bill is going to come due. We need real leadership, not a MAGA-themed invasion of our allies' social media feeds. This isn't a reality show. It's real life.
Y'all.
Now,
Was that?
LVZ, I wanted to tell you one more thing. Before I came on, the Venezuelans down in Florida are begging not to be deported now that the U.S. has seized Venezuela. But Stephen Miller said he is still going to mass deport Venezuelans out of this country.
Oh yeah, they should have known that. They should have known. Stephen Miller hate them. Don't they know Miller can't stand them? Like you said, they better look at them videos. Ask about that high school janitor that was Hispanic, and how Stephen Miller harassed that dude when he was in high school.
Yeah,
man, like I said, that seriously, he took it back to the good old days of white supremacy, y'all. He said he wanted to make it great again. They stealing land and everything.
Yep, he sure is. But y'all, they want Greenland because they're trying to increase the number of white people. And like I was saying yesterday to y'all, it's not going to work because when I went and looked, the birth rate is low in Greenland.
I was about to say the birth rate is damn near negative in Greenland too, because it ain't nobody out there but them.
Right. And the thing is, I said that's only a temporary boost. I mean, you still got declining. You may have Greenland, but you still got a situation where the numbers are declining.
Right. And yes, we knew that was an AI Jasmine Crockett voice. And yes, we realized that. Yes. Whoever's in the chat, we realized that, y'all. Yes. Just like I realized that first brother that Lisa played was obviously a war veteran from the Gulf War. And that's why his reaction was, so we're going to, you remember how that worked the first time? And he went, I just can't, and cut off his camera. I know several people who done fought over there because of that. And when they heard that it was like, so we gonna do it again. So you mean tell me I went and fought a bullshit ass war for them to go try to do it again?
You know what I wanted to tell y'all? Y'all remember that old Somalian guy that was on camera talking about he's eating off of our people for free, his EBT, and white boy get to work and white girl get to work and all that stuff. And he was on video. What I wanted to tell y'all was, you know what I found out? Dude ain't even in the U.S.
I was about to say, Lisa, a lot of that. See,
a lot of people are talking about he got deported. No, he is. He ain't even here.
He was never here.
He lives in Canada. He lives in Canada. He's just doing troll videos.
He trolling y'all a lot. Just like on the internet, y'all. I learned this. I'm glad Lisa said this. I used to go off on a lot of people on Twitter too. Sometimes I go on their stuff and go, man, this motherfucker ain't even over here.
Yeah.
Y'all stop falling for some of that. Some of these people ain't even here.
Right.
They just doing that to troll you. That's all that is.
Yeah, because there was rumors online that he got deported. No, he didn't. He ain't even here.
Yeah, but I say you can't deport him if he wasn't here. And again, y'all, we already know Somalians only live in like one place. That's Minnesota. And who lives out Minnesota? A bunch of white people. That's why I'm laughing about this whole thing. I was like, man, They ain't getting none of my tax money. Yes, they did. I said, no, they didn't. My tax money go here in Maryland. They ain't getting no federal food stamps.
No, he doesn't even live here, y'all. So no, he's not deported. He lives in Canada. And he even admitted, and he does a video almost every day. That's why I was like, how can he be deported and he's doing videos every day? And he even said on the video, he's just trolling. And that's all he's doing. He's just trolling.
I hope they deport that big teeth one though. That was talking about we love Donald Trump. They left us. They left us.
Oh, that
So we
little
have to
short,
go to
that
Donald
little,
Trump.
yeah, that little short Somalian dude with the hat on. Yeah.
Well, listen, if your hairline was in the middle of your head, you wear a hat too. That don't do that to him.
Woo, yeah, you ain't never lie.
If your hairline was way in the middle of your, you out there looking like RoboCop. You
Yeah.
What this brother talk about though? I'm sorry, I stopped it. Let's see what this brother's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are some Somalians in Columbus. There's some in Maine too. But the biggest, what LVZ is saying is true. The biggest amount of them is in Minnesota. The biggest amount of them, yeah, you got smaller groups in all of these other states, but the biggest amount of them is in Minnesota.
Yeah. When you gonna find them for real? Minnesota, yeah, you will see a few here and there. We got a few out of Virginia, but it's very few. They got a community out there in Minnesota. And think about it. They love to live around white people. So that's why I ain't sitting there caping for them. Because one, they chose to live around white people. And they told us, and after we told them all that time, all that white ass kissing ain't gonna help you. They're gonna get you in the end. And oh, shut up, we are not black like you. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, one of them did a video online saying they're Caucasian.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're melanated. I promise you, when ICE run up on your ass, they ain't gonna believe you're Caucasian. Okay,
yeah, you
gonna believe that about you.
Would say, Lisa, yeah, you can be saying that shit sitting in CCOT. You I am not black. I'm not black. Why you over in the Negro section in CCOT? Somebody think you lying.
Right. I mean, look, and the bottom line is, y'all, yeah, they're scattering up there because I did see some of the ICE raids, and I saw one. They grabbed one of them Somalians. He looked like a teenager, and they slammed his ass down on that ground. I mean, they slammed his ass hard on that ground.
Well, you know they ain't but so heavy, Lisa. Motherfucker that skinny. It ain't.
yeah. The biggest thing on them is their head.
Hey, I'm about to say he can't help but to go down fast. That head. He can't help but to go down fast, y'all. Once that head get to tilting, it's just a matter of gravity.
That is so true. All right, y'all. We're gonna play a few more of these videos.
Did y'all see that report from Aaron Parnes? If you see that, make sure you repost it on here. Trump is about to give freaking Stephen Miller a new position. He's gonna have him overseeing the whole operation in Venezuela. Stephen Miller. Oh boy. Y'all. They over there celebrating now.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is preparing to give Stephen Miller the keys to Venezuela, so to speak. According to the Washington Post, Trump is planning on potentially installing Stephen Miller as kind of the person responsible for overseeing everything that happens in Venezuela over the next several days, weeks, and months moving forward. Stephen Miller, as you know, is Donald Trump's deputy chief of staff. He's also the architect behind many of the most controversial policies in this administration. He's the architect behind Donald Trump's entire immigration agenda. His wife, Katie Miller, actually just was the one who made world news by posting an image of Greenland with the US flag over Greenland. And now it looks as though that Stephen Miller may be getting a larger role as it relates to Venezuela, potentially overseeing everything that happens regarding America's running of Venezuela. I'll provide you more updates as we get more information. Spread the word, and as always, follow along for all the news that you need to know about. More to come soon.
What could possibly go wrong with Stephen Miller being in charge of Venezuela? I mean, we've seen people with his ideologies take over South American countries before, haven't we? The Washington Post is reporting that due to all of the confusion and instability in Venezuela, Stephen Miller is being eyed as the one to take over the day-to-day operations of that country because Marco Rubio just has too much on his plate as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. He can't possibly handle the day-to-day administration of an entire nation that the United States illegally took over. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, Stephen Miller was curiously standing in the background behind Trump at that Mar-a-Lago press conference after the strikes on Venezuela, where Trump said that the United States is going to be running the country. I did. Did you? And now that this reporting from the Washington Post seems to confirm that Miller, yes, Stephen Miller, is going to be in charge openly of another country. Honey, you just traded one dictator for another. That man loves power. He's been operating behind the scenes for a long time in the shadows here in the United States. You know, the shadow president, some people call him. Well, now he's going to be openly running a country. And if you think he's going to be better than Maduro, oh, sweetie, read some history books.
All right, we have a lot of breaking news to run through, and I regret to inform you, the situation could get a whole lot worse. There has been a massive cloud of mystery surrounding the simple question of who is currently running Venezuela since Maduro was removed. Donald Trump will say in one breath that the United States is running Venezuela, as in Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio are running the situation. But then Marco Rubio, in a very unclear manner, still seems to be leaning on Maduro's current VP, Delcy Rodriguez, who is handpicked by Maduro, is essentially just going to continue the same dictatorial policy. So in between all of these contradictory statements, the Washington Post reports that the White House is weighing the worst possible person for this position or any position. Donald Trump's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, is being weighed to have a more elevated role in overseeing the post-Maduro operations in Venezuela, according to one person with knowledge of the conversations. The person who is spearheading the most cruel, radical, and reckless policy in the Trump administration is now being weighed. And I want to dig into this more because this is a function of Trump stripping away a lot of the more experienced national security staff around him. But let me just back up a few days. I want to remind you all that right after Maduro was captured, Stephen Miller's wife, Katie Miller, posted a photo of our NATO ally.
All right. Do you want to throw anything else in there, LVZ?
Yeah, the reason that it's a big deal about Greenland, y'all, is because that's another white nation. Now, look, I want y'all to think about that. Now, he's thinking about, he ready to put a racist, xenophobic, small hat in charge of Venezuela. A man who can't look. We know that Stephen Miller racist, but through his own admission and through his own history, he hate Latinos worse than he hate black people, y'all.
Yep. Yes, he does.
This just through his history. And now you gonna send him to a South American country and where he gonna be the lead. Y'all, it's gonna be slavery in there.
Yeah. You just watch. I mean, those people, man, they better stay off the streets.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I said I knew that shit was AI, because they know just like we know, y'all. Look, the other lady, right, that he said is too weak, and I want y'all to pay attention to that. Trump said that the other lady was too weak to be president. That same lady was said that she would have rolled with Israel and Netanyahu. So if he thought she was weak and he got to send Stephen Miller, that lets you know what that's about to become, y'all. That's about to become the newest American slave colony.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And and that woman that you're talking about, she actually won the last election, but Maduro stole the election from her.
Yeah, he kicked her ass out of there.
Mhm.
He said,
But he didn't win that last election. He just threw her ass out and kept her from running Venezuela.
right. But I think, look, this is what Maduro was saying, though. He was saying that that election was rigged by the United States for her.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw her out. He was like, hold up, I know damn well they ain't vote for this. Hell no. She about to sell the whole country out.
Right. And she actually beat Trump out for the Nobel Peace
Nobel
Prize.
Peace Prize. Yep.
Yep. That's the
And
same woman.
they said that lady is batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They said that lady is crazy as cat shit, y'all. They let you know they give anybody the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, because she's just really technically she's nothing but an activist
Exactly.
over there in Venezuela. That's really all she is.
Yep. And that's all. That's all.
Yeah, but they already said she ain't getting it. And they don't want the VP, who is also a woman. They don't want her getting it either.
Her standing job.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why they got Stephen Miller.
Y'all, they get ready to rape that country. It's about to be some.
Yeah. Hell
And y'all, it's about to be a new Epstein Island in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Nah, think about Lisa. If they gonna send him there to be the president, they can go there and do all of the corrupt shit that they want to do here that's illegal. They can go there and just not have to deal with it.
Y'all don't be surprised if you hear about some Trump hotels going up in Venezuela.
Venezuela, thank you. There you go. That's what they said about Greenland, Lisa. That's what a few people. That's what the British people were saying about. Because I was watching the British news, and they said because they nervous because he keep talking about Greenland.
Right.
And they said, "What you think he was going? What you think he gonna do?" And the dude Lewis Goodall said, "Well, of course, he's going to turn it into a real estate bonanza and a chance for him to make money." She said, "That's exactly what I thought."
Yeah.
So, but it's gonna be a Trump hotel in Greenland next to a Greenland resort, y'all.
Mm-hmm. A golf course. He gonna put all the stuff he like over there.
Over there.
And he's gonna do the same thing because he's talking about Cuba. He gonna turn Cuba into a resort.
Yeah, he gonna try to do that.
He's gonna push all them poor folks out of the way.
And that's when the war gonna start, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because Putin is not having that.
Mm-hmm.
Putin is not having that. He gonna let his ass know, look, motherfucker, I got business over there in Cuba. You gonna keep your ass up out of there.
Mm-hmm. Well, LVZ, he blocked Venezuela because Cuba got their oil from Venezuela. And Donald Trump and them, they hijacked those oil tankers out there in the ocean.
Yep, going to Cuba.
They didn't get their oil. And they were saying if they don't get their oil, the country is literally going to collapse.
Crazy.
But they had 3 oil tankers that were supposed to go to Cuba because they buy directly from Venezuela. And those oil tankers never made it there because Donald Trump had the Navy intercept all of them. Yeah.
Yep, most of their oil comes primarily from Venezuela and Mexico.
Yeah, so I mean, they spoke a little bit today about Putin, but he didn't really come out in a strong way and say anything. But Putin and also China's president, I saw their names in a few articles, but none of them have really, come out in a big way to say something about what Donald Trump did. So far, everybody is silent.
The UN had a damn emergency meeting, but really, right now, the rest of the world is running around talking about Donald Trump like you talk about Benito Mussolini, y'all. For real. That's how the rest of the world is talking about Donald Trump. They like he a madman. They don't know what he gonna do next. We can't be sure what he won't steal next. And they like now the it's a new world order because now the strongest people they say, yeah, of course the US always used to be the world police and it was for their own benefit. He said, but if Donald Trump is throwing that away, and now the message is if you stronger, you get to take stuff. He said, well, then Ukraine gonna be gone.
Right.
Taiwan about to get taken by China. This
China.
idiot
Yep.
is about to make us less safe, y'all. That's
Mm-hmm.
not none of that shit is gonna make. And when I say us, I mean us, people. We not safe.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I heard the terrible stories about Maduro too, but to me,
Mhm.
it's up to the Venezuelan people to fix that
People to
situation,
fix
not
that. Yeah.
Not Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Mm.
because if that's the case, Lisa, if somebody got enough, if China get enough money and power, can they come just snatch Donald Trump because they tired of him?
Yeah, how can we get that done,
Yeah,
Elvis?
how can we? Yeah, because how can we hook that up? Hey,
He said,
China.
how can we get
Hey,
that
China.
done?
China, he be right here, Andrews Airport, but you catch up soon as he land. Come get him.
Hmm. Yeah, you know, because I think also if he tries it, because they got Cuba on the agenda, but I think if he did, Russia gonna send their warships around Cuba and keep it.
Yeah, but I just read what you said, sis. You 100% on. They said all they gotta do is control that oil and Cuba will collapse anyway.
Right, right, because Cuba hasn't been doing good for a long time,
Yeah,
and I went over that with y'all, and and they said there's starvation going on that island, and them people trying to get the hell up on out of there.
yeah, y'all realize that Cuba ain't nothing but Haiti.
Right.
That's all Cuba is, y'all. Cuba is paying for being free. You shouldn't have had no revolution. That's what America says to any country that has a revolution. Why don't we help Haiti? Because they fought off white supremacy. Why
Mm,
don't they like Cuba? Because Cuba, in the era and around the 50s and 60s with Castro, they fought off and denied white supremacy.
right. That's why they put them embargoes on them, y'all. And
Yep.
that's why they're driving around them cars from the 1950s because that's
Yep.
how long the embargoes have been on Cuba.
Yep. They said, I remember I just talked to somebody that was like, that's messed up what they did. That was like, man, that's messed up how Asada Shakur died. I said, no, it ain't. I said, Asada Shakur was a success story, especially when you look at how everybody else either sold out or was still in prison and died there.
And the thing is, she was not the only Black Panther that went. There were several
Mm-mm.
of them
There were
that
several of them.
she is just the most famous one and the
Mm-hmm.
most well-known name, but there were others that
Yeah,
went to Cuba and they've been there ever since, just
ever
like
since.
her.
Yeah. I about to say they ain't left.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't left. It is some more over there. And remember, some of them went to like Algeria too.
Yeah.
But the rest of them came back and sold out, y'all, bucking their eyes, run around bucking their eyes, trying to sell barbecue sauce and shit like that. It was embarrassing.
Right. And see, they didn't like Castro because Castro said he felt more safe around Black Americans than he did white people. And when he did come to the US back in the 60s, y'all. And they had a hotel for him and everything laid out for him. He didn't trust it. You know where he ended up staying? In Harlem with the Black people, and they
Yeah,
were fired up mad because they had that room bugged
yeah.
where they
I'm about to
wanted
say,
him to stay. He didn't stay there. His ass went straight to Harlem, and the
yep,
whole time he was in the US, he hung out with the Black people in
with
Harlem.
Malcolm X.
Yep.
He was with Malcolm X. He was with some of the Black Panthers. They said, man, Castro came here and alienated himself from the white public so good that to the point where they like, you know what? this guy's an enemy. We ain't gonna deal nothing with him. Because
Mhm.
Castro, people try to like, oh, it's still racism in Cuba. No, it's not racism in Cuba. It's racist people still there in Cuba.
Right,
But you ain't allowed to do the shit that you do here in Cuba.
right. And see, Castro was the one that busted up those white Cubans from,
Mm-hmm.
treating the darker ones like slaves.
Like,
They were
yeah.
actually doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why they all came running over here to the US,
Yep.
because he cut that mess off,
Yep.
But yeah, they were so hot with him when he went to Harlem and did not stay in Washington, D.C., where they had everything all laid out for him. He was like, I ain't staying there. I said, that man ain't crazy. He know y'all about to set him up. He
Mm-hmm.
ain't crazy. But interesting. All right, let's get more back into the video.
Okay.
Let's get
The
here.
ad I'm talking about.
We're seeing reporting that President Trump is planning to have Stephen Miller run Venezuela. And we all know Stephen Miller, he is the chief architect of Trump's very aggressive anti-immigration policies. He's even known as the shadow president because of
LVZ.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there any good pictures of Stephen Miller? This dude looks bad in every
I
picture.
told you, Lisa, the man looked like a circumcised. His best pictures, he looked like a circumcised pee-pee. And his worst pictures, he looked like a damn vampire. He looked like, look,
I mean, dude don't look good in no picture. I mean,
at
none.
all. Look, that's why people were saying they think Katie Miller's sleeping with damn Elon Musk. People keep talking about the money. I said no. I hate to say it. Even compared to Stephen Miller, Elon Musk is one of the sexiest men alive.
Woo, that's pretty bad. And you
That's
know what,
bad.
y'all? Yeah, let me tell y'all something. Katie Miller is pregnant with her 4th child. And some
Yep.
people are rumored online saying that's Elon's baby.
Right.
Some people online are saying she's actually pregnant. And people are saying that's Elon's baby.
Yep. Roxanne just said even at that New Year's Eve party in Mar-a-Lago, it looked like he was just stalking people instead of dancing. It did though. He was with that creepy. And do he ever have a look that don't look like he about to snatch somebody's child off the corner?
Yeah, for real. I have no respect for Katie Miller. She lay around with Stephen Miller. That's enough said.
She don't have no respect for Katie Miller.
No. All right, y'all.
Of how influential he is. I mean, he's behind all of the militarization of ICE. He's behind everything with the National Guard, cutting refugee admissions into colleges, you name it. He's also a known white nationalist. And of course, everyone was initially assuming that Secretary of State Marco Rubio would be in charge of Venezuela. But recent reporting by the Washington Post has shown that it seems like Rubio just won't have the time to run the day-to-day policy in Venezuela since he's Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. And since both Rubio and Miller were basically behind the mounting pressure against Venezuela for the past few months and were central to removing Venezuelan President Maduro from Venezuela to the US, it looks like the White House is kind of looking to Miller now to basically run the country until they can find someone better to do the job. To top it off, Stephen Miller's wife actually made news this weekend for posting a picture of Greenland, which we know Trump is like threatening to take over. She posted the picture on X and you can see Greenland in like the pattern and colors of the American flag with the caption "soon" over it. There's just so much mixed messaging from this administration, and it's clear now that there is no plan set in place for who's going to run this country of 30 million people. We did see that Rubio said yesterday that he does want to see Venezuela return to a democracy, but that discussing elections are premature. So it seems like the situation is changing rapidly. Make sure to follow the news girls to stay in the loop.
Hold on, Lisa, real quick. I want you to think about
today's
that.
episode, if you can't make this shit up.
I want people to think about that real quick. That they are deciding when these people can have elections. Yeah,
Yeah.
so of course, if they're deciding that, they saying we'll decide when they have elections. That means when we decide that it's somebody that's gonna bend over and do exactly what we say, the way we say it, when we say it. I want y'all to notice that they keep saying that they're gonna run that country and they will tell you when they can have an election. That already tell you they under their lock and key.
Right. Right. It may never be another election in Venezuela.
Thank you.
Seriously, y'all. It may never be one. You know, Donald Trump don't want nothing but white men running that place.
Exactly. Exactly. And let somebody like JD Vance or something like that win the next election they try, y'all. That mean for at least 10 years, them people gonna be under subjugation with no president. And the only reason we should care is that that's gonna force a lot of them to try to sneak into this country,
Right.
and we're gonna start having different kind of terror attacks than we used to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why they're begging down there in Florida. They're begging the Trump administration, since they grabbed up Venezuela, to let them stay in this country. But Stephen Miller already said, nope, the mass deportation of Venezuelans will continue. Well, he's telling you, no matter what, you getting the hell up on out of here.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just heard that our esteemed president is going to turn Venezuela over to Stephen Miller. He's going to put him in charge of the transition and whatever else they got fucking planned there. And I also just heard that Stephen Miller made an announcement saying all the Venezuelan people, immigrants that are here in the United States, guess what? You're going back home because it's safe now, right? We took out their dictator. So all is good in Venezuela. So if you're a Venezuela immigrant, it's like you're going back home. Make Venezuela great again, huh? All right. I'll keep you updated on how this plays out, on top of multiple countries around the world issuing warnings. Yeah.
Things for the Venezuelan people just got a whole lot scarier. Trump is considering putting Stephen Miller in charge of Venezuela, and he is the worst person in the cabinet. This man loves C. Scott. He loves torturing people, and he is behind Trump's immigration policy. This man has studied how Germany during World War II moved people out of Germany and into Poland and what they did to them. And he's all on board for that. He has instructed ICE and CBP over and over again to be as cruel and as violent as possible when removing people from this country, because he thinks that this country should be as white as possible. And if you're not white, then you should be working for those who are. He buys into this whole white replacement theory because for some reason he has it in his sick, evil head that the color of your skin or where you're born matters. It's a lottery. We're all just born the way we are. It doesn't make us better people or worse or have more value. But he is one scary individual. And I'm telling you, when I said that things were not going to get better for the Venezuelan people, even though they wanted Maduro out, this is it. Things will get worse.
Now, Lisa, I agree with almost everything she said.
No plan for what comes next. The Trump White House is now reportedly looking at Steve.
I was saying real quick, Lisa, I agree with almost everything that woman just said except the one part. Did she say Stephen Miller has a little head, y'all? That man look like a white Somalian. That's why Somalians think they Caucasian. They think they some kin of Stephen Miller.
Wow. Yeah. Well, no, Stephen Miller don't have no little head.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Uh-huh.
That would look like a bobblehead. But everything else she said was on point. But that little head, I said maybe she need glasses.
For real. All right, let's go on.
Stephen Miller to help run post-Maduro operations. Yes, that's Stephen Miller, the architect of family separation, the guy behind Muslim bans, the hardliner who sees human beings as problems to be removed. According to multiple reports, the administration is in shambles behind the scenes. There's confusion, there's no clear leadership, the National Security Council is understaffed, and instead of diplomats, regional experts, or international law specialists, they're floating Stephen Miller. Gross. Marco Rubio is busy defending the invasion publicly, but insiders say he doesn't have the time to manage day-to-day policy. So the White House is scrambling inside Trump's inner circle. And when they need someone to oversee a foreign country after a military takeover, they look to the same guy who's designed America's cruelest immigration policies. That should terrify everyone. This is about power, control, and exporting authoritarian tactics abroad. If Stephen Miller ends up shaping Venezuela's future, that tells you exactly what this operation was always about. And the fact that this is even being discussed should alarm every single American, regardless of party. Because when the people who broke the system at home start running other countries, absolutely nothing good follows.
Lisa, I thought of something, Lisa.
Go ahead.
Maybe we should look at it a different way. Look, I just thought about something. Yeah, he shouldn't be running a country, but doesn't that mean that he won't be in this country?
I don't know.
Maybe Donald Trump pulled the whammy on him. Said, yeah, Stephen, you gonna run Venezuela. Get this creep away from me, and sent him to Venezuela, and he ain't never coming back. Maybe that will be good for us.
Yeah, but LVZ, do you think if somebody say something to him in Spanish and look mean, he'll be running again?
I about to say he gonna go hiding in the look. If somebody gonna write something in some taco sauce on the ground, he gonna hide in the house.
Because I mean, all it took was somebody to write in chalk outside his house for him to run. Now, what if he gets in that presidential palace or whatever they have in Venezuela and somebody writing chalk outside of that, he gonna run again?
He definitely gonna run, Lisa.
Or is he gonna be a remote president? You know, president from here in the U.S.
Nah, he gonna be surrounded by all that security that go there with him.
Yeah,
but he gonna have a palace.
But listen, Maduro had security too, and they got him out in 30 minutes. They got him out in 30 minutes, LVZ.
No, but see, that's the security that he's gonna have, the people that got Maduro out.
That's what I'm talking about. Is he gonna really be safe with them?
That's true. That's true. But look, I'm trying to tell you, he's gonna have all types of security. He's gonna be in some. If he's over there, he's gonna be in a fortress. He ain't gonna just be walking around the streets of Venezuela.
Oh no. Yeah, and then he'll be doing one of them cornball Nazi speeches on TV over there and everything. Oh yeah, they gonna be in for something.
Yeah, I'm about to say ain't none of that going. Yeah, he ain't gonna be walking around doing all of that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but you kind of right there, LVZ, getting him out of the country, that might be a good thing for us. Ain't gonna be good for Venezuela, but it might be a good thing for us.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. I was like, yeah, it sucks if you're a Venezuelan, but if you live here, we ain't gotta deal with Stephen Miller no more. He gonna be in Venezuela.
Right. So let him stay over there. And if he want to pick up a few people, that to take over, which I'm sure he will. He ain't going to be just him.
Right. Yeah, he can't go by himself. I'm quite sure he got friends And anybody that's a friend of Stephen Miller deserves to live in Venezuela with Stephen Miller. Any friends of Stephen and Katie Miller, Lisa, deserve to live with Stephen and Katie Miller.
Right. So yeah,
I mean,
he'll be taking a whole staff of people with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I know they are. These people are cowards. He not gonna look. He gonna be over there. That's why I'm laughing about now that I'm thinking about it, y'all. How y'all think he gonna like living in Venezuela? Even if he living in the presidential palace, it's gonna be a third world country around a bunch of Spanish people he hate.
Right.
That's why I told you he gonna be treating them like shit, y'all. He gonna be starving them, enslaving them, and he gonna be miserable. But honestly, a piece of crap like Stephen Miller, he feels better when he's miserable.
Right. Right. But yeah, when he does his first speech as president over there, I'm definitely tuning.
Yeah, I want to see that. I do want to see that.
I won't be tuning into that shit.
I do want to see that. I do. I want to see the motherfucker be booing. They gonna be booing his ass and don't even know what he's saying. They don't understand a word, but they know they don't want that motherfucker.
Yeah, for real. Boy, they gonna be in for something. So LVZ, thank you so much for coming on here with me.
Already, sis, already. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We gonna have to hook up again because I haven't done a current event now in a few months, so we got to get back to that.
Yeah, we gotta get on some current events and damn if the events ain't getting more current every day, sis. Good Lord.
You ain't never lie.
Crazy.
Oh, Stephen Miller's Mr. Burns on The Simpsons.
He damn sure do look like him. Somebody was saying that earlier. And you know what? They hit that shit on the head. He young Mr. Burns.
Yeah. Absolutely. And ain't Mr. Burns evil? Yeah. He's definitely that. Thank you, Onika, for the super chat. Shalom, Queen Lisa. We have our people in Venezuela. Hold on. It went by kind of fast there. I've been brother with this. Oh, okay. Yeah. The Afro Venezuelans are there. Yeah,
they are. And what's his name was one of them. The other president, he was one of them. Chavez. Chavez was one of them. People ain't know that. One of Chavez, y'all you see his greater hair and his complexion. One of his mother parents was half black too. Chavez was one of them. That's why he was cool.
Yeah, they didn't like him though.
They couldn't stand him. They tried to make that man the devil. Chavez, the reason when Bush started the war over there and oil prices rose in America, Chavez put an olive branch out for the people of America and said, well, since we got the largest reserve here in the world, we're going to make the oil a little cheaper. So y'all remember when the gas went up with Bush, then all of a sudden it started going down? It's because Hugo Chavez cut a deal so we could have cheaper gas. Not even our president did that.
Just like not even he's doing that now.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the thing. They took over Venezuela. And y'all, I bet you nothing is going to come down in the U.S.
Nope.
I bet you nothing's going to come
Nothing's going to come down, y'all. And so the injury, I bet you shit go up, y'all.
Yes. And you're like, you got the biggest oil cache in the world, and we still paying top dollar over here.
Dollar for oil.
Yeah, it won't even make sense. So they got gold, they got natural gas, they got oil. They said they got all kinds of variety of different minerals in the ground. So yeah, I mean, it's a big cash cow. at the end of the day. But like I said, it ain't gonna do us no good. You think these rich people gonna come down on these prices? Hell no.
Hell no.
Always.
Especially when you pay them. That's
Mhm.
why we gotta stay strong and vigilant, y'all. It's not a boycott. We making economic choices, and we can't spend our money with these crackers unless we absolutely have to.
Mhm.
Absolutely have. I know I said that shit. I say me. I'm not buying another stitch of clothes, nothing like that. People like that. I said, nigga, I got shit in my closet that I ain't wore yet anyway.
Thank you, LVZ. I got stuff still with the damn price tag
Price
on it.
tags on it, right? Because we most of the time all we do is work and come home, y'all.
Mhm.
So nah, man, we cannot feed into this beast that keep eating us up. We need to starve them.
Right.
They stealing tax money anyway.
Mhm. And giving our shit away to all
And
these foreigners.
yeah, look, and then blaming them for them giving the money away.
Right.
That's seriously, Lisa, that's why I'm not mad at no Somalian. Who gave them the fucking money?
Mhm.
You did. It wasn't nobody looking like me sitting there saying, nah, this don't sound right. They
Mhm.
couldn't wait to get them the money, y'all. So don't be fooled now that they now that they double crossing who their partner was at first. That's y'all know that's the nature of them. They always double cross their partner.
Right.
And all these tethers gonna learn that.
Mhm.
All these tethers gonna learn the hard way that these crackers they are not to be trusted. They always, it ain't a history. I don't care if it's a liberal one, I don't care if it's a conservative one. They always cross their partner. Y'all better pay attention.
Mhm. Mhm. And y'all see it was a white woman. They don't have no problem throwing her ass under the bus.
On the bus, no.
They have no problem
At
doing
all. They
that.
have no problem throwing that white woman under the
Look
bus.
at her. Number one, she's not attractive.
Nope.
Number two, girl got a face full of zits.
This.
They ain't
And number
thinking about her.
Yep. And number three, she wasn't giving that money to no white people. So they really gonna throw her ass under the bus.
Right. Right. Exactly. So they
They
don't
knew
care about her. She ain't the typical blonde hair, blue eye.
blue eye, yeah.
She ain't nothing like that. She's like the opposite of it. And on top of that, she overweight. They ain't
Yeah.
gonna help her out.
I'm gonna tell you what else that lady probably did. And y'all gonna laugh, but I bet you look into it. I guarantee she probably had some money behind the George Floyd protest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guarantee you, y'all. I guarantee if you look into that lady, not only did she do that fraud, but she had something to do with something that happened around George Floyd and trying to get people money. And they remembered that shit. Trust me.
Yeah.
They not playing. They remembered that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They gonna get you.
Yeah. But see where I am, LVZ, I really don't see no Somalians.
I don't even.
We don't really have them around here like that.
And that's why Lisa, that's why I said I'm not fooled by what they doing. You made it comfortable for them people to come there. You gave all them people all them advantages. You knew how look. You mean to tell me some that because when they talk about these billions of dollars, Lisa, people don't put it in context. What they adding up is from like 2008 to now.
Right.
And then it's combined to all of that money. Y'all know damn well they wouldn't let you get food stamps if you ain't supposed to get it if you're an FBA for more than 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow they fell asleep on them.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's what they was doing. So I don't want to hear you complaining it's not fraud when you let them get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
Is it stealing if the motherfucker left his door wide open and told you come take what you want?
Right. Well, see, some of the Somalians were on video talking about this, the white woman. And I said,
Yeah.
y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Even if this woman came to you and said, I got a way we can all get millions of dollars, you didn't have to go along with that shit.
No, that's fraud. Motherfucker, if a motherfucker come to you Right, a motherfucker come to you, say, I got a way we can make a whole bunch of money, but don't tell nobody. Yeah, them Somalian dudes. That's what I think, Lisa, cause you brought it up. She's screwing one of them Somalians. That's why it's 5 Somalians involved in the joint.
Right. Because they
She's
do
screwing
show
one
her
of them.
with one guy. They keep showing her with one particular
One guy. Yes, thank you.
And
She,
yeah, because I mean, look at homegirl. She ain't pulling a lot of white men.
yeah.
The way she look,
And come on, y'all know Somalians, them big ass heads, they be happy to get any white woman.
Right.
So I'm telling you, y'all, this scandal ain't about quote unquote Somalians. It's about an ugly white woman, and the only person she could sleep with was an ugly Somalian. This story is not about race, it's about ugliness, y'all. when you ugly Somalian and an ugly Peckerwood, you don't got many choices.
Mm-hmm.
But each other and fraud. That's the only choices you got, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tell people that. Look, Shirley laughing.
But that's the truth, though.
Yeah.
When I saw, I was like, "Ew."
No bull. When I said, God damn, this white woman look bad. I was like, and then they said that they was like, she was the ringleader, and here was the people under, and it was like you said, with 4 or 5 Somalians. I said they made it seem like it was 100 Somalians. I said everything else they talking about nutrition fraud. Y'all know what nutrition fraud is. That means that they was getting food stamps and getting some extra food stamp money. I'm telling y'all, that's what nutrition fraud is, y'all. That you get a food stamp card and your nephew live with you. You claim your nephew, but you don't got the birth certificate. That's fraud. That is government fraud. So that's why I say I don't listen to that shit. I want to see where the money is. And when I see where the money is, they said 250 million went to her.
Right. Right.
Not no, Wick the same thing, Miss Butterscotch. Yes, Wick too. That's what they saying. They saying that they was frauding like food stamps and WIC. So when they saying nutrition benefits, they saying that all right, the bride probably stayed on WIC longer than she was supposed to, or she was getting more food stamp money than she was supposed to. And no bull, y'all. If you do that, that's fraud. You could go to jail. So I want y'all to understand when they saying fraud, what we think is some Somalians went and got a whole bunch of money out the government. Not at all. The white lady extra food stamps and shit. The white lady and her partners got all the money.
Right. And remember, she started during the time of the lockdown and the PPP loans. That's when she started all the fraud up.
Right, y'all, because y'all remember, listen with me and Lisa, remember Lisa was doing the videos about it during the lockdown. How much Marjorie Taylor Greene and all them was getting in PPP loans. But they forgave all it. But before he left, and Joe Biden big head ass did it, he forgave all their loans. All that money they stole from us, y'all, they forgave the loan, but made you pay it back.
Right. Right.
So man, I don't, when I listen to that shit, I be like, look, I don't want to hear it. Don't sit up here and cry to me about some shit you did. Don't come to me crying about what you did.
Right.
Talk about ain't it messed up.
Exactly. Oh, see your Charlie Kirk.
What somebody say?
I said, I see in the background your Charlie Kirk back
Oh, my
there.
Charlie Kirk. I love put, but it triggers white folks when they come to your channel and they see that. Who's this Negro? I'm gonna call his job.
Oh, LVZ, did you see that video I did a few weeks ago? Kyle Rittenhouse got married.
What? Nah, I
His
missed
wife
that.
and
You
his
should have
wife.
sent me that one.
Listen, Kyle Rittenhouse got married, and
Okay.
everybody online was laughing
That's
because
how bad she looked.
his wife looked like Charlie Kirk, and I'm not kidding. His
Let
wife
me
looked
let
like
me Google
Charlie
it.
Kirk, LVZ.
Let me Google this. Hold on.
Male version of
Let
Charlie
me
Kirk.
have me a good laugh. Kyle Rittenhouse wife.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they say. Let me see what it got for. Let me see what Google showed me a picture of this here. Yeah, I got to see this. Who would marry that little fat retard?
Really? Somebody did.
Oh, she do.
And the whole place, it
Oh
went
my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold up. Let me see if I can pull this to show them this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had some pictures of her, but yeah, she
Yeah.
looked like Charlie Kirk.
What? I'm trying to check. I'm going to other pictures, y'all. I'm like, this gotta be like somebody must have took the face off and super. She looked like Charlie Kirk for real, y'all.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Damn. Damn. Well, hey, couldn't have happened to a better retard.
You ain't never lie about that. And look at what kind of picture they took. He's standing there with her and an assault weapon.
And she got a damn handgun.
And she's loaded down in tattoos.
Yay. Looking like a damn biker.
Uh-huh.
Bad. Y'all might be right, y'all. It's the end of times. Look. Racist big head motherfuckers is marrying women that look like men. We don't know. Every cats and dogs living together. I don't know, y'all.
Uh-huh. Boy, I tell you what, it is a crazy world out here.
Somebody said, I'm thinking that's AI generated. I was too, bro, but I want you to go ahead. Draco, go ahead and Google. Go ahead on and Google that and watch how many pictures you see. She just looks like that.
She does. She really seriously looked like Charlie Kirk.
I thought it was AI too, bro. But she got like 6 different other. She got another picture with her hair pulled back and a red top, y'all, with glasses on. She still looks like Charlie Kirk. That's probably her best picture. They got a picture together. I'm looking at. That's probably her best picture. This bitch look like Charlie Kirk, y'all.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Oh, at least before we get off here, I got something for you. Y'all all gonna laugh. I got a movie for y'all to watch. Okay.
Okay.
It's with Demi Moore. It's with Demi Moore in it. I just watched it. Right. It's about Demi Moore is one of them exercise people that do the exercise stuff, and she got aged out. So it's called The Substance. That's the name of it, The Substance. So she found so that this nurse, when she went to the doctor, gave her a number to these people who made this serum that's supposed to make a younger you. So it's you and the younger you. And I swear, y'all, when y'all look, I'm like, is this Demi Moore or is this Caitlyn Jenner?
What?
I swear, you gotta look at that movie. After a while, Demi Moore looks like Caitlyn Jenner now, y'all.
Wow. Is this on Netflix?
Was it on Netflix or I think it was on, it's either on HBO or Netflix. It's one of them. It's called The Substance, sis. And I swear to you, in this movie, after a while, you get to look and you go, man, she had too much surgery. She looked like Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, wow.
She do, yeah. It look, and what messed me up, I was like, damn, Demi, you was one of the 2 pretty white women. What happened to you? It ain't no such thing, no pretty white women. It was 2 of them. It was it was Tom Cruise's wife, and she looked horrible. Now that I see her, every time I go to AMC, I'm like, damn, bitch, that surgery killing you. And then it was Demi Moore back in the day. She was supposed to be the other cute white women. Y'all know it was only 2. It was 2 cute, 3. It was 4 cute white women in the history of the world. Brooke Shields. Lisa, stop. You know it's the truth. There's 4 cute white women in the history of the world, y'all. Don't let my sister laughing at me. She knows the truth. Marilyn Monroe was the first one. Brooke Shields, Demi Moore, and the other white broad that Tom Cruise married. Them all were the only 4 cute white women in the history of the world. White people tell you that.
Okay. You talking about Nicole Kidman?
Thank you. That's her name, Lisa.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they thought she was a cute white woman too. Trying to tell. Yes, Busy B. That. What's his name? What's his name? No, Julia Roberts is not pretty. That bitch looked just like her brother. I am sorry. I don't know why people say Sandra Bullock, funny horse face ass. Julia Roberts, that bitch looked like her brother. She was just in pretty. She just was in Pretty Woman. Wasn't nothing pretty about that woman. Y'all know it. She looked just like Eric Roberts. When y'all saw Best of the Best, y'all thought that was Julia Roberts doing that karate. You didn't know that was Eric. You're like, yeah. Boy, Julia sure can't act. She know karate too. Oh, somebody said Elizabeth Taylor and Bo Derek. Bo Derek wasn't pretty.
Yeah, but no, Elizabeth is dead. You know, yeah. Somebody among the living.
Yeah, I'm talking about the living people. Plus, yeah, somebody said Alyssa Milano, the white girl for Who's the Boss. I guess she was all right, but she wasn't pretty to white people. She wasn't. They never put her up like a sex symbol.
No, they sure didn't.
Yeah, I see the white women y'all naming them. They really wasn't pretty though, y'all. That's why they don't talk about them now. They really wasn't pretty. Angelina Jolie. I ain't think she was pretty either. She just got big lips. That's it. She's got big ass lips.
Those aren't even real lips on top of that.
That's what I'm about to say. Nothing about Angelina Jolie was pretty to me because she was too plastic. Like, seriously. Those 4 white women I named, they kept them 4 white women in view for damn near 40 years. Nicole Kidman and Demi Moore been around since me and Lisa was 6.
Wow.
Byron said he did say history. That's yes, I said the history of the world. I don't know no other pretty white women that they thought really was pretty. I don't really think them bitches was that pretty, but them was the last pretty white women. I would be honest. All them bitches that I said, I think they all 6s.
Right. I know. All right, y'all. We're gonna conclude, and like I said, we'll definitely LVZ. I'll definitely have him over here again. So y'all enjoy your night. Thank you so much for spending this evening with us, LVZ. I deeply appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.
And y'all have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful night. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom, fam.